say that joining us here in the studio, former champion Boris Becker. Great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And of course, your charge Novak through to the quarterfinals yesterday. Coaching is going very well for you, Boris.
Well, with a player like Novak Djokovic, coaching is very easy. He is one of the finest out there. He's a great student. He wants to get better. He wants to play better. And so it was a pleasure working with him.
I have to point out there's a spider on your mic.
Oh, is there? That's good luck, isn't it?
It's a good luck sign, yes. Stay around, stay around.
I just didn't want you to eat it.
Yes, thank you.
That wouldn't have been a pleasant experience.
Did you help him with his diving skills? Because what happened, I mean, so you haven't gotten to every aspect of his game yet?
No, obviously not. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten himself a bit injured.
Yeah.
And he criticized me afterwards. He said, Boris, I mean, we tried the forehand, we tried the serve, everything is going well, but the diving is really terrible. Let's go out on the practice court and do a couple.
How is his arm, by the way?
It's fine. It was a scary moment. We all got up in the bench and we weren't sure anymore. He had a loud scream and, you know, injuries on grass happened very quickly. He felt here, you see it again, very awkwardly. He lost his balance completely. And normally he wouldn't scream if there's nothing wrong. But then he took his time, the physio came out, the doctor came out, they checked. He was able to finish the match and then he went downstairs to through all the tests and everything is fine.
And no one ever taught you how to dive, did they? You just did it naturally.
Well, my problem was my footwork wasn't as good as some of yours or some of the others. So when I was at the net, in order to get some of these balls, I had no other choice.
Yeah. Now tell us, you know, when you think about Wimbledon, your memories of playing here as a player, and of course we've been talking a lot today here in the studio about how much the court markings have changed, how much the sort of serve volley aspect slightly creeping back into the game, isn't it? But what are your thoughts on the way that the men's game is going?
Yeah, overall it's played much more from the baseline. You have many more counter punches than in nowadays mats. Having said that, I think everybody's realizing a good serve on grass will always be a good weapon. Doesn't matter how slow the balls are, doesn't matter how thick the grass is. A good first serve is a good first serve, and you see how many aces some of these guys are playing. On the other hand, a good first volley, cross-court, especially on grass, is always another good weapon. And it doesn't matter which era and which century, that's always going to be key on grass.
And today we've just been watching Roger Federer closing out the match against Robredo. He is coming into the net a lot. Have you been watching Roger's tennis there?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You know, he's playing the way he's supposed to. You know, he obviously won the tournament so many times, so it's his choice how he wants to play here. Yeah. But, you know, being 32, 33 now, not being a fan of too many long rallies, I think it's a smart way for him to do that.
And so what is the aspect in terms of your input into Djokovic's game? Is it about the technique on his volleys, or is everybody saying it's because of your mind and how strong you were under the most pressurized situations? What is the aspects that you want to bring into his game?
I think everything a little bit, you know. I mean, having played the game for a long time and having, you know, played this tournament for many, many times and successfully, you get a sense of the overall game. You understand what's important, what it takes to win tennis matches. Not everybody can serve and volley, but you still, you know when there are important points. So it's technically, it's about the strategy, it's about the mindset, it's about how you pace yourself over those 2 weeks. Not every match is equally important. And obviously, you know, you want to win every match, but especially in the first week in the Grand Slam, you want to win the matches as fast as possible, not to spend too much time on the court, for example. And then the question is, you have 2 days off, what you're going to do with it? You're going to go for another 2 sets, 2-hour practice or not? So those the type of things that were very common to us, Mats, when we played. I think it's something that Novak is looking for me.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, if you go outside of your world now and look back in and say, hold on a second, Boris Becker is coaching. When I saw Jimmy Connors coach Andy Roddick, I couldn't believe it. Then I heard Ivan Lendl. I'm like, wow. So do you get a feel that maybe you're surprised at your love for the game? Because you got to love the game to coach somebody else who, by the way, has a chance of passing you in the Grand Slam titles. Obviously, we're not selfish. No. Are you surprised at your love for the game, that you're actually in this situation?
Well, my life plan a year ago wasn't going back on the tour and coaching. But then you get a call from Novak Djokovic, you feel honored and you feel proud, and let's meet, let's talk about it. I think the love for tennis has never vanished. I've been on the sidelines and commentating, but being back on the court is a little different. And I was asked the last couple of years by a number of players to go back on the road. Well, it has to be worth it, with all respect to some of the players. If I go out there, I want to win the tournament. And even as a coach, and I think Novak has the same mindset.
Yeah.
Do you think that statistics is a bigger part of the game today? Are you talking about statistics with Novak?
To a point, yes. Obviously, everybody has patterns. So you want to see the first serve percentage. You want to see how many returns you hit it, and so forth. It's all part of the game. Everything is a bit more modern. Everything is surrounded with the technology we have these days. And why shouldn't we use it?
When we look at the two of you as a partnership, we're looking at... You seem very different, actually. You're a very colourful character. You love life. You like to go out and enjoy a good meal out. Novak seems like someone, he's talked about his diet. He's absolutely rigid in every single aspect of what he puts in. You are very different characters, aren't you?
Well, from the outlook, maybe. I think we have very similar personalities.
Do you?
Novak does love life. He enjoys a good meal. He's a good dancer.
Well, I know that you're a good dancer,
he's a good dancer. But it depends when you do it. I think when I was playing, I was very German and very methodical, very strict in everything I wanted to do. But then there's life off the court, and I think because we have similar personalities, I think we get along well.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
I have one question, and I know you must probably have to go. Nick Kyrgios is playing today. And when you came up as a 17-year-old and won Wimbledon, and I think very few people don't even talk about it, that was great. But for you to defend, by the way, it was unbelievable. I mean, how can you defend at 18 years old? When you see Nick Kyrgios, how well can he play? And how much better did you feel you played in each round when you won those two Wimbledons?
I think that is a very valid question, because your confidence level when you're a teenager increases by the minute.
Right.
You're surrounded all of a sudden by the good and the greats of the game. You're in the same locker room. You're winning matches. They take you seriously. They start talking to you. Immediately, you play better the next day. And I think that's what happens with Kyrgios. I've seen him in Melbourne live, and I was very impressed with his attitude. He's not afraid of the big stage. He loves playing in front of a full house, and he's a very dangerous player. And I see him as a future, I don't know, top 10. Who knows how he's going to get, because he's got this attitude, something you can't teach.
Quick word about the women's, because of course we can't ask you who you think is going to win the men's, but what about the women's? It's wide open with Serena and Lina out. Who's your pick for the ladies' title?
Well, this morning I was going to say Sharapova, but she's obviously struggling at the moment. She won the second set. I think the grass court is a very different animal. And very few women truly feel confident on the grass. So I think whoever gets into their stride, whoever starts to feel confident about themselves, has a serious chance of winning. It could be anybody left in draw, in my opinion.
And I know you were watching the football last night. Germany did well. Who's going to win the World Cup?
Well, it wasn't pretty. We didn't win a beauty contest last night.
So lucky.
But that's what it takes sometimes. You in a knockout. People assume always in a knockout phase you want to be pretty, you want to play offensively, win 4-5 late. It's not going to happen. No. These teams just want to win. If it's 1-0, if it's a penalty shooter, that's all what matters.
Yes. Talking of pretty, are we going to see you more in your shorts?
Looks like Novak wants to see me hit a few more balls, so I'm trying my best.
Nice.
Looking good.
Thank you so much, Boris.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we really wish you and Novak the very best of luck.
Thank you very much.